Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. Nice low humidity day. We're almost turning the corner in June, heading into July. And so today I thought we would go harvest some of my Georgia Southern collard greens. And so thanks for joining me today. And so I direct sowed those Georgia Southern collard green seeds in my garden back in April. So they've had over 2 months of growing, and they're just really coming along really well out here in this nice sunshine here. And I grow those in my composted leaf mulch amended with topsoil, and I also add some alfalfa pellets early in the season and sometimes through the season. But anyhow, I also like using my wife's Longaberger basket for my harvesting out here in the garden. And so follow me along and I'll show you where these are in my raised beds. And so these collard greens are right up here on the left at the end of my raised bed here. And so you can see how nice and hardy they are. I have a few holes in the leaves, but this is organic gardening and something you can expect. But so far it seems like the cabbage worm really haven't attacked these yet. And so this has just really been a great harvest season, or growing season for these leaves. And so I just want to go through here and pick some of these leaves out. Now, these type of greens, like your Swiss chard or your kale, they're also pick and come again. And so you want to just continue to pick the outer leaves throughout the season, so they'll just continue to produce for you. And so, this pack of seeds cost me under $2. And so, just look at all these greens that, I only probably used half a pack. And so it's just amazing how much food you can produce by growing your own food out in your garden. And you can also grow these in containers. I have some red Russian kale growing in containers, and also some Swiss chard. And so I always like to try to pick the larger outer leaves on the plants here. And Bailey, he also loves his greens. He's eating the stalk there of these collard greens right now, that as I put them in the basket. And so you just want to go through these and harvest out the big leaves. These really need to be thinned out. I do enjoy giving a lot of my greens to my family or to my neighbors or friends. I had also direct sowed one 8-foot row of Swiss chard here in the foreground, and so I have these actually growing under the leaves of these collard greens, and so I actually need to go through and thin those out as well. But anyhow, yeah, it's amazing what the food you can produce from one pack of seeds. I would really encourage you to think about growing some collard greens or some kale or Swiss chard. Swiss chard is one of my favorite greens, leafy greens that I grow out in the garden. And it's always good too to go through your plants, and if you have any dead leaves, always be taking them out. Like here's a yellow leaf here that needs to be thinned out, taken out, and those leaves, of course, you can put in your compost pile. I need to go through these and thin them out. What are you doing chewing on those? And so Bailey's getting his hair cut this morning. Shannon, our dog groomer, is coming over and So we're looking forward to taking all that hair off of him, and so he's going to look a little different in the videos to come. But he's certainly enjoying his collard greens there, aren't you, Bailey? And so let's take a walk from here over around the corner here, and I'm going to show you where I'm also planting some red Russian kale in my container, and I also have some dinosaur kale growing. Like, here's some red Russian kale that I have growing in containers, so you can see that container gardening also does really well. And I also have some dinosaur kale here growing in this one container. You just need to water these even more so than in raised beds, maybe once or twice a day, even depending on your outside temperatures. I also have some peppers and tomatoes growing in some of these containers here. But anyhow, I thought I would just give you a quick overview of how the garden's progressing. I do like to do a video about once a month just to show people how everything's growing really, really nice here. So anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining Bailey and I today out here in the vegetable garden. And if you have any questions or comments about this video, feel free to leave them in the section below. And let me encourage you to think about gardening for yourself. You know, if you haven't started, it's something really easy to do. You could start with like a 4-foot by 8-foot raised garden bed, or out in your backyard soil you could amend that with some peat moss or compost. Or you could also do some container gardening on your patio or a deck. You just want to make sure your vegetables have enough sunlight, you know, and so you can just get a bang for your buck, you know, by growing your own food, something I would really encourage you to think about doing. And so anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining me today out here in the vegetable garden. And you can also visit our website at plantsmartliving.com. So I hope you have a wonderful day. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.